Welcome into the Bad Fan. The end of the World Cup is here. Magical Messi has led Argentina to its second final since 2014, while France is looking to secure back-to-back champion status, an exclusive group. But we're going to break down their bids for glory on the Bad Fan. So join in. Our journey begins right now. The end of the World Cup is here. Oh my gosh, guys. But we're back for another special edition of the World Cup Bad Fan. I'm Cole Carter. I'm joined by Stephen Curl and Brandon Patesnick, three soccer guys who have loved getting to share the World Cup with all you beautiful people watching across the world. Guys, it's kind of sad we've come to the end, but what a World Cup it's been, huh?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty great. All the on-field stuff has been really great. I've enjoyed a lot of it. Yeah.
Steve, no shortage of
yeah.
drama.
Yeah, it's been a lot of drama. Who would have thought that we'd see the day Ronaldo isn't starting every World Cup game? First African team, Morocco, to get to a semifinal. That's awesome. So it's been a tournament for firsts, and it has not lacked on the entertainment side at all.
It definitely has not. And I'll tease a little bit as we kind of look to the future. We have today's episode. We'll do a World Cup kind of recap episode. And then, as Stephen cannot wait to unpack the U.S. men's nationals team journey in the World Cup and post-World Cup, the kind of drama that's been unfolding, we'll unpack that next week as well. But for today, we're going to be looking at France and Argentina. They have made it to the World Cup final. We're going to see how they got there, how they did in the semifinals, and how we think this thing will pan out. But guys, let's look at this semifinal for Argentina. They were going up against a great team in Croatia, a Croatian team that was in the World Cup final in 2018. So no slouches, but a lot of people counted them out this World Cup. They thought they're too old, they couldn't do it again. But here they go, and the semifinal once again. But what went wrong for Croatia, Brandon?
They didn't create enough chances, I don't think, in this game. When your furthest point forward is, he's slipping my name. The guy for Tottenham, what's his name?
Perisic,
thank you. When he's your furthest attacking player, I don't know, maybe that's a tactic of theirs, and I know he does like to get forward. He's good doing it, but at this stage, you need a little bit more than that. So they didn't create enough. But, yeah, in this game specifically, there's just too many errors. A penalty that Messi absolutely roofed. He made no mistake about that. And then they just couldn't clear the ball on a marauding Julian Alvarez. I think he picked up the ball around half field and just drove right through the heart of the defense. It was crazy. But they just couldn't clear the ball. They had opportunities to. That goal definitely wouldn't have happened if they did clear the ball. And they had two chances to do so. So, anywho, they go down 2-0, and then that's basically it.
Messi managed to get the third goal. Yeah, that goal with Sosa trying to clear it and just not getting enough of a foot on it, really probably something that he would want back. But that third goal by Messi is just one that was a beauty. You have Gavardiel, who's been the top defender of this World Cup. Everyone's been talking him up. He's had the eyes of many top clubs on him since the summer, and he comes in this thing all the way up here, on cloud 9, and Messi just put him in his place. I mean, the GOAT went to work, taking him up the sideline, put him in a dishwasher, had him forwards and backwards, and then getting to the byline and just getting the perfect assist to Julian Alvarez. I mean, Messi seems like he can't do any wrong. Is it Messi's destiny? We'll discuss that a little bit. But the sad part for me is that this might be the last time we see Luka Modric on the international stage. But talking about Croatia a little bit earlier, should he and Croatia walk away proud of where they finished or leave disappointed they didn't do more in this World Cup, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I think the The only right answer has to be proud. I mean, like you said, they made it to the final in 2018. Make it to the semifinal. A lot of teams, a lot of people wrote this team off. Too old, too slow. To Brandon's point, maybe not enough attacking prowess up front. Kramaric, not really household name for that team, but this is a team that formed in the 90s, as far as, I mean, the country that formed in the 90s, and plays, I think their population has like 6 million or something like that. Anyways, it's crazy. It's one of those teams of destiny. And let alone, let's not talk about this team without Luka Modric in the conversation, at least, for one of the best midfielders ever. And he showed it this tournament, balled out. And if he's balling out at this age, I mean, he put in some shifts too. This wasn't a guy that was limping off the field in the 60th minute, in the 70th minute, full 90-minute shifts, extra time, you name it. So, yeah, this team should be proud. This team should be proud. And I think if the penalty, I mean, I won't say, oh, if the penalty doesn't happen, this game changes. However, up to that point, Croatia looked the better side.
They did.
And it's, questionable penalty. I don't know, whatever. It was a penalty, I think, but it's unfortunate for Croatia. And I think it just speaks to the depth of Argentina to, okay, we have our goal now. Let's start to unpack. And so I think Croatia's game plan changed there. And maybe the dramatics of their previous game, left the team with tired legs. But anyways, that's a really long answer, but the team should be super proud. I've loved watching them the past 8 years because it's a team that you don't think about going to. We're talking about Brazil. We're talking about, Spain, England, Germany. How much of a disappointment have they been? Like, it's hard to get to this point of the tournament. And I think this World Cup has taught us that. And for Croatia to almost go to back-to-back finals is absolutely insane, given the talent as they stack up against the rest of the teams in the tournament. So good on you.
Yeah.
And they have dope jerseys.
Yeah.
True.
I think we covered that in a previous episode. So go look at our World Cup preview for the jerseys. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I forgot.
Steven rated those very high.
Yeah.
He did
As it should.
specifically.
They were great. But I forgot how good Croatia's midfield was, and I know they got a lot of praise throughout this tournament. And they are phenomenal. One touch passing, always know where to go with the ball, always the right pass. Usually, it was insane to watch. Like, it was so entertaining. It was beautiful. Another thing Croatia typically does well too is defend, which they didn't do this game, like we mentioned. But like, their defense was really good. Dejan Lovren, is it Dejan?
Yeah.
Looking like he was back in his Liverpool days. I mean, he looked really good this tournament up until this game. There's a couple defensive errors, but with Gavardiol as well. But they were a fun team to watch. So I agree with Steve. They should definitely be really, really proud. And again, beating Brazil, the favorites for the tournament, like, that's no easy feat. And no one else can say that they beat them this tournament. It was literally only Croatia. So good on Croatia. Congrats. Now I'm really interested to see where they go from here.
Yeah, and their keeper, he made a big name for himself in that PK shootout, and in general, he had a really good World Cup, and hard to, fault him in the Argentina game, but he definitely stepped up and proved his worth. Maybe he'll get a move somewhere. I don't know where he's at now, but again, some of these players might be making moves in this January window, and he might be one. But guys, Croatia, they go out. Argentina, they have had a weird World Cup. This is one of the first times they kept a clean sheet. I think the only other time they did, was it Australia that they beat? I think clean sheet.
Australia did score a goal, I'm pretty sure.
So even then, this was a shaky team, but they were able to get the clean sheet against Croatia. So something that they maybe proved to themselves going in this final, that we could be a defensive wall and kind of absorb the pressure. And so maybe Argentina themselves show that they could do it. But I think Croatia should be proud, just as Morocco should be proud. Going up against the world champions in France, things didn't get off to a great start. Theo Hernandez, who came in for his injured brother who tore his ACL, has had an amazing World Cup. This guy's been flying up that left wing, and the 5th minute gets a pretty fortunate goal, I would say. Steven, I think you and I probably agree, maybe Brandon, that maybe the Moroccan keeper could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it like a glaring. Maybe I would in a World Cup, given the stage, but it's one of those awkward, weird in between. Go for the ball, guard your near post. Kind of seemed like a lack of awareness. I don't know, almost
Yeah,
on
I
the
was gonna
keeper
say,
part.
like, yeah, he didn't know where he was on the field almost.
He didn't know where he was on the field in accordance with the goal. It was an awkward ball, to be fair, but I mean, you just can't do that if you're trying to go to a final in a World Cup. But keeper could have done better.
It just seemed like he was slow to react. Even the guy on the line, it just seemed like they didn't know quite what to do with themselves. Like the guy on the line is watching it, but I feel like if it's me, I would want to cut off that angle more. I don't take a step towards the ball maybe, and the keeper as well. Just like he was on the ground and got up. I mean, at the very least, just like you can get not on the player, but get a lot closer and just
Yeah.
I don't know. It was strange. It was strange to me. But Theo Hernandez made the crazy kick. He got his leg up high and got the ball on the ground and put it in the goal. It's all credit to him. But Morocco there just looked a little shaky, which then obviously gave France a huge leg up. But Morocco didn't go without their chances. They came back pretty strong, to be honest. Really firing up on that right wing, moving a lot of the ball through Hakimi and Ziyech together. In the first half, they get that bicycle kick off the post, which had a couple of French hearts beating pretty quickly. And then a huge clear off the line from Koundé. But I don't know. Brandon, what did you see that France was doing that maybe was something that they improved upon in that England game?
I don't know, because they played well against England, but I think it's fair to say England played the better game against France. They just came out on the wrong side. Maybe if Harry Kane puts his penalty away, England's here and England's probably going to a final as well. But France, I mean, yeah, like we said, they took their chance as well. I don't remember them creating a whole lot. I know Giroud had a couple chances that he should have scored at least one of in this game.
Yeah, that half volley would have been insane.
Yeah, but one of the things that, and we'll get into this when we talk about the France-Argentina game, but France broke pressure really, really well against Morocco. Like there was never a moment where they were under pressure, made a bad pass, or lost the ball in a bad area from my memory. And they just never put themselves under trouble. So that's definitely a great thing, as you can probably imagine, especially going into a game against Argentina, who really like to press heavily. Yeah, France just looked the better team on the day, and they looked good and ready for a World Cup final.
Yeah, I thought the big thing that they improved was Mbappe was sort of quiet, I think, in that England quarterfinal. Like Kyle Walker did a really good job of limiting him, which then obviously when you limit Mbappe, that can open up other parts of the field, like we saw with Griezmann being able to move around that midfield pretty freely, get some good balls in the box, and that's how they obviously got their goals. But I saw Mbappe this time looked a lot more dangerous, really going up at that line, using his speed, but also then in tight spaces, using his dribbling abilities in the box to be really dangerous, which is what ultimately led to that second goal in the 79th minute, where 4 or 5 guys just collapse on him, which then leaves him to get a shot off, gets blocked, but because there's no one there off the deflection, Randall Colomwani literally was on for like 30 seconds, comes on first touch, and just puts one in the net for 2-0. So really, Mbappe, the Golden Boot leader, showed up and made a big impact, I think, on this game, where ultimately, Morocco wasn't able to put one in the net, but they had their chances, like you said. But I don't know. I think France, I was pretty comfortable with France this whole game. I think, like you said, they didn't look nervous. They didn't have any nervy moments. They were pretty collected. Hugo Lloris has done his job really well, making saves when he needs to. Not, sometimes Steven and I know this. He can have his lapses. Maybe he comes out of the box in a weird time or whatever, but he's looked like the captain of this team, and looks like he could captain this team to back-to-back World Cups, which has never been done before by any player. So, but yeah, this finishes the Atlas Lions, their magical run in the World Cup. Like, which again, round of applause for them being the first African team to make a quarterfinal and semifinal, inspiring an entire continent and region, the Arab world. So they should definitely keep their heads high after this Cinderella run.
Super cool to see him do that. Also, I would say real quick in Qatar as well. Like that was like you could just tell like all the fans that were there from the Middle Eastern region, whether it be from Qatar or neighboring countries that were there just to spectate the World Cup. Like they were all behind this team. And they were a team of destiny. Like it was so cool to watch them. All the context being given, tournament being held at Qatar to see them go as far as they did.
Yeah,
and I think that atmosphere in the game was so loud too. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was awesome.
Their fans really showed up. I was gonna also say I think they were the first Islamic country to ever make a semifinal, and the second Middle Eastern, because I think Turkey made a semifinal at some point. I was listening to something or reading something where they said something along those lines. Definitely fact check me and get in the comments and let me know if I'm right on that one. But something of the sort. They were also first/second in, so they were making history in other ways as well. Yeah, what a great team! What a great tournament for them. They were really fun, and they weren't just like boring. Like they were really exciting to watch.
I mean,
yeah, that coach finna get paid too.
Honestly, in that second half, like they were putting great pressure on France. Like Hakeem Ziyech, like I said, Hakimi, number 8. I can't remember number 8's name. Like they literally just like you saw the ball get recycled back to the center. And they always came back to their right side.
They did.
So they knew what they were doing, and it was working. I mean, they were getting decent chances. There was one like the 93rd minute. Was that the one that was cleared off the line? I can't remember, but just too little, too late for Morocco. But hey, something to be proud of. Nothing to be upset about. They can still get third place. They can still beat Croatia in the third place game, which is sort of that weird in between of like, do we try? Obviously, there's a lot to play for pride-wise to say we came in third place. So I feel like Morocco is probably that country that will put their all into it. But maybe Croatia, been there, done that. Maybe not so much. But hey, the Atlas Lions, a lot to play for the red and green. We'll see what they do in that third place game. But the World Cup final matchup is France and Argentina. We got the back-to-back champion hopefuls versus Destiny Messi. But let's talk about how these two teams actually match up with one another. We have different formations for each of the clubs. Brandon, you kind of lead of what we might look at from each team formation-wise.
Yeah, and these are just from their past game. Argentina played a 4-4-2 with Alvarez and Messi starting up top. I think this is interesting. I don't know if they'll stick with this. They might go to a front three, maybe bring in Di Maria, who had a big role in their last tournament run and previous runs as well. Di Maria has sort of been saved this tournament, so you might see Di Maria start. He had a banger against them last time they played each other. 4-4-2. I don't see much other things changing on the field. It might, like I said, might go to 4-3-3, but the 4-4-2 seems to be really working for them. They seem really comfortable in that. With France, 4-2-3-1 is what they played against Morocco. Giroud's been starting up top, and he looks really good. He gets overlooked in these tournaments, like international tournaments and normal like club play. He gets overlooked so much. He's so good. And remember, he's replacing the best player in the world, Karim Benzema, who we just learned of that I guess is available for selection in this final. I don't know if that'll throw a wrench into things. Probably not, but you might see him on the bench. And then, of course, the best young player in the world, arguably, it's Mbappe on the left, Griezmann in the middle, who they're playing like this triangle in the midfield that just constantly cycles. And then when they're in a defensive posture, they're set up differently. When they're in an offensive posture, they're, again, different. Dembele, who I didn't even know he was playing today against Morocco. He seems like not even there. Might have a big role in this final, to be honest. He has the talent to do so, but he's usually on the right. This French team, again, is filled with players. I'm not going to go through the list, but Varane sort of holding down the fort in the back. And like we said, Hugo Lloris, who is Tottenham's keeper, the captain of France, playing very well this tournament, maybe the goalkeeper of the tournament, ready to go. But let me hijack the podcast for a second. I'm throwing a curveball in here. I don't know if I told you I was going to do this, but I have some questions for both of you. France versus Argentina, their history. Can either of you guess? They've only played, 12 times in their history. A lot of friendlies.
All competitions. Wow.
In all competitions. Who owns the rivalry? We don't call it a rivalry. Who owns the matchup?
I'll go first. I'll say even numbers, 8-4 Argentina.
Okay.
I will guess France. We said 12.
Yeah.
5-3-4. 5 wins, 3
ties,
draws,
I
4
guess.
losses.
Yeah.
That's very close. You guys are sort of similar. Argentina actually has 6 wins. There have been 3 draws, and France has won 3 times. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll let the chat decide who was closer on that. My mind's not sort of working right now. So that's fun. They haven't played a lot, but they have played in some big games. Do you remember the last time they played each other?
14 World Cup, maybe?
Okay. Cody,
Maybe not, because they're both.
They had to have been in the same group at some point.
Because they're always at the top
guess-
too. That's the thing, is that they're never probably playing each other.
I'll guess that they played in the same group in 2010.
Those are some fun guesses, but no, the last time they faced off was in the round of 16 in Russia, 2018 World Cup. You might remember this game. Mbappe had an early penalty, which Griezmann put away. Mbappe also scored 2 on the day. Di Maria had an insane banger of a goal, but it was only to be outdone by the goal of the tournament, Benjamin Pavard, with a sweet right foot riser from outside the box.
So
I forgot.
Into the top corner. Yes, this was the round of 16. What a game for the round of 16, okay? The game, Messi also assisted Sergio Aguero on the day, but the game ended 4-3. France obviously went on to win the tournament, but that was the last time they played each other. And I'm hoping for a lot of that magic to come into this game. Do you know what the game, I'll guess a year, okay? It was before 2000. The last time they played a competitive match before that game. Not a friendly.
Not a friendly.
Yeah. And who won
94 US World Cup. See. It had to have been a quarterfinal.
No. It wasn't 94. Steve, just guess a year.
1986.
It was 1978 in the World Cup for Argentina won 2-1. I looked up the goals to see if there was any names that we knew. We would definitely not know them, and our listeners would not as well. But that's a little bit of history. Thanks for playing the game with me
That
there.
was good. Nice, Brandon. Let's
Of course,
go.
of course.
Look at our guy doing some good
Thought that was
research on the
fun.
pod. We appreciate that. Yeah,
course.
they it's fun when they have
That's
extensive
fun.
histories. Obviously, individually, they're 2 of the most decorated countries in international football. It's hard to beat, Germany and Brazil, but Argentina and France both have seen success domestically. I say domestically, like European tournaments or South American tournaments. Obviously, World Cups. That's the big thing that they've done. And some big names have won it for them. And so now we get Messi, we get Mbappe, we get them in this final. It's going to be probably a big spectacle, knowing that one team can either repeat, which is a feat that I don't think has been done. I don't know. Fact check me on that one. And then also Messi, one of the biggest names
Yes.
ever to play, had a chance to win his first World Cup. So I think really the fans aren't going to lose in this game. It's going to be a spectacle one way or another. Something that's to be excited about. I know, obviously, I'm very excited. It's going to be weird having it at 9 a.m. That is going to be a bit funky.
Mhm.
But I can't wait to watch this one. But kind of back to the tactical side of things, we'll see Acuna probably come back into the starting 11, I would guess, for Argentina after having all the yellow card suspensions be erased. So he served his in the semifinal. He had played, I think, most of the games on that right kind of wing back position for Argentina. I would expect to see him slotted back into it. But
Mhm.
I sort of hinted at it earlier, both these teams have been shaky defensively. That Morocco game was France's first clean sheet. So defensively for you guys, who's going to be a little bit more vulnerable and more likely to see a goal scored against them first? Who do you think?
I'll go first quickly here and just say I think Argentina is more vulnerable. I sort of mentioned it earlier, but France rarely pushes their fullbacks forward, so they they defend solidly and then build from there, and honestly launch a lot of counterattacks, which is really fun to watch, like a really good team do. Um, but Argentina uses their high intensity pressure to win back possession and then push it into the attacking third from those recoveries. Um, you know, France is just way too skilled and can play around those type of presses. They won't always be able to, but they can do it almost every time. So Argentina really does have to be careful when they're doing this. Whether that's only pressing from a certain side or certain angle or whatever. That's where coaches come in, watching film, all of that stuff. But yeah, Argentina's got to slow down a bit, I think, in their press if they want to increase their chances of winning this game. I think Argentina is definitely more at risk.
Steve, who do you think?
Yeah, I think Argentina's the I don't know, man. I think France, I think about the last World Cup final, and was it again talking about Lloris? Wasn't it a mistake? Am I making this up right now? Was that mistake in the final to even Perisic
I think
flip it
so.
back in the game
I
1-1?
think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's Argentina's so dang crafty. It's the best opponent that France has gone up against. I mean, you could say England, but totally different play style than England. Like, it's not to be lost of Latin American play style, like different, so different. To Brandon's point, these teams have not played each other that much in their history. But however, recently in 2018, they're out of 16. But yeah, I don't know. I just think France is going to concede first. I don't know why. Call it whatever feeling. I think there's some sort of who knows, resting on their laurels, maybe some arrogance, back-to-back champions, like you had said. Argentina is a team that can counter like madness, like we saw. Against God, Morocco. Yeah. So I mean, this team is just absolutely incredible on the counter, absolutely like lethal. They can finish. And we'll see. I don't think it's like glaring one way or the other though, as far as which team is more shaky at the back. But
Both teams are going to concede goals, I think, in this
yeah,
game.
both. Yeah,
There's not
there
going to
will
be a
be
clean
no
sheet.
clean sheet. And so I think as soon as we get first blood, that's when things are going to start getting interesting. You might see these teams start to feel each other out a little bit, but I think what's going to be so fun about this game is that, let's say Argentina concedes 2 goals, they are not out. Like, it's going to be absolutely insane. You're going to see Messi put his head down. You're going to see Mbappe put his head down and just go. You're going to see Giroud pop up out of nowhere and hit a scissor kick off the post, and then you're going to crap your pants. Like, this is going to be an incredible game. Two insanely talented sides of death finishers, experience, and young, exciting talent. It's gonna be awesome.
I think for me, if I'm gonna find a point to kind of it's not even critiquing, but just noticed with France is that they've been actually dealing with a couple of injury slash illness. Rabiot and
Yeah.
Upamecano missed the semifinal to illness. And so that means Kanate has to step in that starting lineup to be next to Varane. And then you have to put in Fofana and for Rabiot, who actually have been contributing this French side pretty well in that midfield. Kind of creating a little bit, making space in that midfield for Griezmann. And so it's going to be interesting to see what Didier Deschamps does. Is he going to put those guys straight back into the starting 11? Is he going to stick with what happened in that semifinal with Fofana and Kanate? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there for me. This France side has been kind of hallmarked by that next man up mentality. We talked about Benzema not being there. Giroud has stepped up immensely. We talk about guys like Paul Pogba missing out on the roster. So Tchouaméni gets to be a part of this roster. And I think it's been... Oh, and then Theo Hernandez, the left back, like I talked about, his brother getting hurt. So for me, that mentality has gotten them this far. And so I'm just so curious what Deschamps is going to do, if he's going to stick with the hot hand or if he's going to stick with the guys that got them there in the first place. So for me, that's where that shakiness could come from, is Konate and Varane haven't played every game, as to where Otamendi and Christian Romero have been very solid together at that partnership there. They're used to playing with each other. They have that experience. They have that camaraderie. So that's for me where that kind of point of balance is going to shift. Could be, how's that partnership do in the back? How are they going to react to each other? So could be interesting. But
another thing too, real quick, sorry, that I wanted to hone in on was looking at this France lineup is Griezmann. Like, I think this guy needs so much praise from the club situation that he is in right now at Atletico Madrid, of not getting nearly enough minutes that you would think to be in a starting 11 for France in a World Cup final. And he's tied at the top of the list for most assists this tournament. The unsung hero, like Brandon was talking about, that triangle dynamic in the midfield, has totally changed his play style, has not had game time, club time to do it. Drama at Barca, goes back to Atletico, not really wanted at Atletico, not allowed to play full games at Atletico, and is still finding the form to do this. I think that's a difference maker that is flying under the radar going into this World Cup final.
Yeah, and he was the hero last World Cup too. I mean, he has stepped up for this France team in immeasurable ways. And I agree. I've loved watching him play. Even in the game against Morocco, he's getting back, clearing out defensive headers. One of the smallest guys in the field is getting back and clearing out that ball defensively. So, yeah, I totally agree. I think he's been that magical man for France that Mbappe, the past game or two, hasn't been. He stepped up. It's because he's wearing long sleeves. It's the long sleeve jersey that really creates the magic.
Because he's wearing long sleeves.
Speaking of magic, I think in this World Cup final, talking about defenses again, it's gonna be happening on the wings. All of the attacking play, I think, is going to become from those wing positions. If Argentina are still going to press high and push their left backs and right backs forward, there's going to be opportunities for Mbappe to get in behind and attack off the wing. Like I said, France doesn't really push their fullbacks up, but who knows? Theo Hernandez was up there today. And so that turnover could be Messi, Julian Alvarez, Di Maria if he plays, going right at the French defense. So I think a lot of these goals or these goal chances are going to be coming from these wing positions. So again, Antoine Griezmann does love to pull out there and put in a beautiful cross. I don't know. I'm so excited to see what happens.
No, I'm excited too. I think I really can't wait. But for you guys, talking about who are you excited to see, what do you think is the most sought-after outcome for this World Cup? Are we more excited for a potential Messi World Cup breakthrough, or do we think the France repeat of something that's only happened once before could be something to be more excited about? What do you think, Steve?
I mean, it's got to be Messi, right? And I think partially also because of all the drama with Ronaldo coming into the World Cup, it's got to be Messi. I think Ronaldo losing a spot at Man United and then coming in with Portugal and not starting, like, oh my goodness. And then it's like, you associate Ronaldo. You're talking about Ronaldo. You think about Messi, and you look over on the other side, and you see Messi is tied for a Golden Boot and also has 3 assists in this tournament. Like, and is about to win a World Cup potentially for the first time, which Ronaldo doesn't have one. So I think people are really interested in that storyline. Who's the GOAT? All that stuff. Francis won it. I think people might be expecting it. I think it really just comes down to if you want Messi to win it or not. French people would obviously disagree, and fans of the French team. But I personally think all eyes are on Messi. Is it his last World Cup? If he loses, does he come back? If he wins, does he stop? Going out winning Copa America and World Cup in the last 2 tournaments would be pretty wild.
Wow.
So pretty crazy, but that's my storyline. I think going into the World Cup is, does Messi get it? Is he the greatest of all time? And does he win the gold? I mean, does he win the Golden Boot? Does he go out with all the accolades that he can collect? And so I think he wants it. So, and you could see it in that Netherlands game too. Yeah, all this World Cup's been fantastic, but Messi's actually letting his personality out, and it's been cool.
Yeah,
Brandon,
it has been great to see. Yeah, I'm definitely with the Messi train. Even since the group stages, this Messi narrative has basically been written. And it's sort of weird to see it play out because typically, it doesn't really happen. Stories, the romantics in us, like we like to say, like those stories don't always happen, and they rarely do, but it is happening in front of our eyes, and it's been really cool to see. And not only is it cool to see, just like the story, just as in a general sense, but Messi is doing it. Messi is the leader of the team, and he is the best player in this tournament so far. And like, he's making everything happen for them. It's not like he's on the team and other people are making it, whatever. No, he's scoring goals. He's assisting. It's just
and the goals, the assists are disgusting. I think the assists have been almost more impressive than the goals. The vision of his passing is just absolutely amazing.
No, he's amazing. So yeah, I'm on the Messi train. Choo choo. This matters for his legacy, and this is not really my opinion, but the general media's opinion, and a lot of people around the world, to be honest. The only thing that people criticize him for is not having a World Cup trophy. He's been there. He lost in extra time to Germany. He finally got his first trophy this past year, and like, obviously it's really stupid that people hold him to this high standard, like, oh, you haven't won a World Cup, you're not the best player ever. And it's, first of all, that's so stupid. Can I say that? But with a World Cup win, he does more than cement himself as the best player of all time. Like, with no arguments. He like literally will write his name in the stars. Everybody will wake up and see Lionel Messi in the stars. That'll be the new Aquarius for the horoscopes. It'll be Lionel Messi. So
it'll be a GOAT.
Yeah, he'll be a GOAT up there. And so and then there'll be no arguments. He will be the best player of all time. And how can you not love that? How can you not love that?
Yeah, for me, it's just like, it feels like destiny. Like, it honestly does. And it's been so insane. I don't know if you guys have seen the helicopter drone shots of Buenos Aires. Like, the fans just filling the streets. That's not even for a final. Like, that's not even them celebrating winning. That's just them being out there. And it's so... It's incredible to have a country literally rally around him. I mean, they practically worship him, which is insane. I mean, you see the drums, you see the flags, him and Maradona side by side, and forever having this comparison between those two people. And then now with Maradona dying, like, this legacy is just being handed over to Messi, and he can complete it with a World Cup win. And it sort of feels like one of those, like, Matrix moments, like, if he wins, like, what's gonna happen in the world? Like, are we gonna achieve world peace? It's just one of those things that's so big and matters so much to so many people. Like, I don't think people know what they're gonna do if he actually does win. And so I can't imagine just the relief if he won to him personally. I mean, just like what a weight to carry, not even just your own country, but the maybe billions of people in the world that want him to win. I mean, that's just a staggering thought to me.
Yeah.
What he can achieve just by winning one game. So it's insane. I mean, I saw a video of a woman interviewing him, of just like not even really interviewing him, but just telling him like this kind of note of just like, we're so proud of you. We're so like grateful for you. Like all these like different amazing things. And yeah, you guys talked about him showing a little bit more personality, and like you can see what these moments mean to him now. Like having family there, having Sergio Aguero after the game give him the man of the match trophy. Like he's starting to kind of crack a little bit, and I can only imagine what him winning might do to him. Just like the pure joy and elation. What like how beautiful is that? And so I think for that sake, I want Argentina to win. I want to see, the unimaginable happen. And so, at this point, France have done it. They did it in 2018. They'll have plenty more chances. They have such young, great talent. But I think for this one, 2022, I want to see Messi lift that World Cup trophy. It just seems befitting, and I think that's where I land.
Yeah, I'll play the French side a little bit. France does have the chance to become the first champion to repeat since Pele's Brazil in 1962, though. That's a long time. So that's some good history as well. There's a lot to fight for there. And there's sort of this underlying story of like the old era of the best player in the world ending and then the new one beginning. And they're clashing now in a World Cup final where one's already won one and could basically end the other one's career, where the other one could win the. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah.
And
I'm
their
loving
teammates.
and their teammates. They can literally they'll go play next week. They'll probably get a break, but they'll go play next week, and then in January or February pick up Champions League and try to go on a Champions League run, and they could win the Champions League together. So it's so crazy.
Yeah,
I
that is
love
crazy.
it.
That's what
Also,
I mean.
talking about the
Go ahead.
goats. No, you're good. Talking about the goats. Our boy Pele. Brandon bringing him up. The only player in soccer history to win 3 World Cups. 3 World Cups, over 700 goals. Still in critical condition or whatever. Really sad to see Brazil not do it. But anyways, just doing a nod to Pele. Paying my respects.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, that's another storyline that plays into it. Maybe for France, you know, to be back to back. You know, like it's a weird thing to say how we beat you, but like the memento saying this is the first time it's happened. This guy, who we might be losing him and his legacy living on, you know, post-mortem. So, yeah, it's interesting. I really am not like exaggerating. I think that this World Cup has been like, despite all the things surrounding it, what's happened on the field has been special. It has been one that's just been undeniably amazing. So the final, though, who are going to be the stars? Who's going to control it? I mean, it's just, I don't know what's going to happen. But Brandon, for you, who do you think will be the star of the final?
I don't want to take too much time, but I think honestly, this is a fun answer. Either goalkeeper could have a big role. I think the goalkeepers will have some shots to save. And I mean like 6+, which is like a good amount. I wouldn't be like, it could go that way where it's like a 1-0 game. Well, even though we said it's not going to be, so I don't believe it will be, but like a 2-1 game with a massive save, it could be a goalkeeper. But I think it's coming down to 2 people that we've really revolved this podcast around, and it's pretty obvious who it's going to come down to. It's Messi or Mbappe. And I'll summarize why. Messi's going to have to turn on one final time. I think France is better than Argentina, and by a good bit. I think their team is better than Argentina's. But Messi has turned up every single game except for the game against Saudi Arabia. And there's no reason why he won't do it again here. He's been the player of the tournament so far. He could end the tournament with the most goals, the most assists, and a World Cup trophy. And the romantic in me really hopes he does. But on the other side of the field, there's Mbappe. He can also end the tournament with the most goals, the most assists and a World Cup trophy if things go right. He's tied with Messi on 5 goals. He has 2 assists, which is one behind Kane and Messi. And if he wants another World Cup trophy, it almost feels like Mbappe will be ushering a new era of top players. You know, like we said, Messi, Ronaldo, and Modric are probably all going to be gone. Now it's going to be Mbappe, Haaland, Foden, Saka, even Tchouameni. Like there's all these new crop of top players, and they're already top at like the age of 21. Like they're already like top 20 players in the world. So it's exciting. There's a lot riding on it. So sorry for talking so much. I know I said I would say keep it short, but Steven.
No, that's great. I think who I'm concentrated on is, I don't know, man. Griezmann's going for his second World Cup. I think he's just going to do something this game. I don't know why, but I think those guys flying under like the Griezmanns and the Girouds, they're going to be huge. Argentina's going to try to neutralize Mbappe. Who's going to be on him? Will it be Acuna?
Yeah, if they
Could
tweak
be.
the way they play, it could be him. But if they don't, it'll be Mbappe getting in behind, and it'll be on the Tottenham Christian
Molina.
Romero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we've talked about how the attack's going to come from the wings predominantly from this game. That's what we assume. So who knows? Maybe Argentina tries to make France play dynamic through the middle, and then that's where you see the Griezmanns and the Girouds of the world shine through. So who knows? It's going to be hard to neutralize Mbappe, so that's a very big task. But I got my eyes on my boys Giroud and Griezmann up the middle. I'm picking 2 players that I got my eyes on this game that I just think it's going to be somebody sneaky. I think there's going to be 5 goals between these 2 teams.
Yeah.
Like, why not? So, yeah, I think it's going to be one of those guys. Maybe Paredes from Argentina. Di Maria. I don't know.
My eyes are gonna be on the video assistant referee this game.
Oh, God, no. That's a way to. You're right, but that's a way to ruin. Oh.
That's what. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so afraid of like some call being made this game and just ruining everything.
You got to assume they're going to let him play. Like, you got to assume there's going to be no shocker. Like, it's going to take something egregious, right?
Yeah, I like the referee a lot for the France-Morocco game. I think he's a Mexican referee. I'm not positive, but I thought he did a pretty good job of like letting things play on. There was a couple of times like Mbappe would go down soft or some. I mean, there was 1 or 2 times he did miss calls, but I thought, as you're kind of saying, letting things play out, I thought he did a pretty good job. But in all reality, I think it's gonna come down to who can keep cool heads. I think this game is probably going to be very intense, especially in the later minutes. And Argentina has shown themselves to be very spirited. You know, we saw that in the shootout win of them not being afraid to get in the face of their opponent. So I think that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. Christian Romero, Otamendi can be guys that can get in your face and can be kind of rash. So in kind of hand in hand, the VAR assistant referee, like, they need to be careful of like not making bad mistakes, not letting their emotions get the better of themselves, because that might be something that could impact their game negatively. So I think the center back play is going to be the predominant thing for me. I'm keeping my eye on. Obviously, offensively, Mbappe and Messi will be the guys, but we'll just see what these guys can do defensively and how they can handle the pressure of a World Cup final, something that a lot of these people have never been a part of. Some of these guys, like talked about, so young that they're just being thrown into the fire here. But all that is happening on Sunday. If you're in the United States, it's happening at 9 a.m., so don't let that get past you. Make sure you're bright and early, ready to go. I can't wait to watch this thing, guys. I can't believe we're at the end already. It's passed away so quickly. 3 weeks or so, and it's already back into the finish line. But so excited to watch it. Any final thoughts before we get to the outro, guys? Any last parting words about it being so excited?
Do we want to do predictions?
Oh, I forgot about predictions. Yes.
Yeah, extra
Like, I
time,
think that's a good way-
PKs, who knows?
It's a good way to do it, right? Good way to end it.
Yes. All right, predictions. Brandon, we'll start with you. Predictions for the World Cup final in Qatar 2022. Who do you have winning, France or Argentina?
This game is not going to need extra time. I will tell you that much. This game is going to be electric, like we've mentioned. No clean sheets. Steve said a 3-2. I love that number. I mean, the last time they played, it was 4-3. It could also be 4-3. But I think a 3-2 is a good number, like a really, really good number.
It's a good number.
I'm gonna go 3-2, even though I think France is the better team. Let me unbutton here. I've been saving this.
This isn't that kind of podcast.
It will be Argentina. Messi will be
the kit reveal.
Cementing the kit reveal at the end. Will be cementing his legacy with a World Cup victory. 3-2 Argentina.
Wow. Steven.
Yeah. I'm going to go Argentina as well, supporting our boy Thiago Almada on Atlanta United, the only MLS player in a World Cup final right now, so everybody else can kiss my butt. Yeah, I think Argentina's going to go for it. I don't know. Messi, it's just written in the stars, right? I'll go 3-2 as well. I'll try to differentiate myself a little bit. I'll say a Giroud brace. A Giroud brace, and that's all I'm gonna throw in there to be different.
Ooh,
but
can I predict the score? I mean, can I say who's gonna score the goals as well?
Yeah,
you
sure.
mind if I slide in? I'll say it after you finish.
You just can't say Giroud. I'm only gonna do those 2 goals. I'm not gonna predict the other ones. Just Giroud's gonna get a brace. You take it or leave it. Write your complaints in the comments. I don't care. Giroud's getting a brace. I'm not predicting anything else.
I think Mbappe will score the first goal of the game, but Messi will have 2 on the day to take the golden boot, and he will have an assist. Messi is going to show up with 3 points today. He's having 2 goals, 1 assist, and they are winning off of that.
My sir, you're in the theater department.
I believe that this game is going to go the extra mile. It's going to be a 2-2 draw to penalties.
Oh, no.
Please no.
It's going to happen. I think that the scoring is going to start with France on the front foot. I believe they'll score probably in the first 18 minutes. If I had to guess who, it's going to be Giroud. 1-0 to France. The second goal is going to be a penalty for Argentina. They will score by Messi's foot. So it'll be 1-1 at the half, which then is going to lead to France scoring in the second half, 77th minute, 2-1. Late thriller.
Steve's writing it down.
There's going to be a Di Maria goal, 2-2 to go into extra time.
Oh.
Nothing happens in the 120 minutes. Penalties go in, and that's when the fifth penalty taker, Lionel Messi, comes in, kicks it to win the World Cup. They put him on his shoulders. His legacy is cemented.
That is not going to happen, but I love it.
What a prediction. What a prediction.
Hey, someone's got to put it out there.
What a way to end the pod.
That's how we do it. But it's going to be exciting one way or another. I'll probably be wearing an Argentina jersey, just like you, Brandon, giving the support for the GOAT and little Thiago Almada, baby boy. But, hey, thank you guys for tuning in to the World Cup. We want to know who you want to win. What's been your favorite part about the World Cup? All that and more. Leave in the comments below. Find us on Instagram and Twitter. Do your thing, because that's going to wrap things up on The Bad Fan today. So continue to support the coverage of The Bad Fan by liking, subscribing this video. We'll do more things for the World Cup next week, as we mentioned, when the Premier League comes back after the break on Boxing Day, Champions League, and much more. Become a Bad Fan today. It's all you got to do. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So stay updated every time we post by clicking the bell below this video. And yeah, It's been me, Cole Carter. They've been Stephen Curl and Brendan Patesnick. The World Cup is finishing. We can't wait to see who comes on top. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace out.